Revenge, a dish best served cold. Unless you're Peter the Great, in which case it's a dish best served pickled?
Peter the Great is considered to be a rather ruthless ruler. He is known for his penchant for torturing people.
Dismemberment, hanging, limbs being removed. He is not a man to cross.
It's something his wife, Catherine, learns the hard way.
Peter finds out that Catherine is potentially carrying on with one of his advisors, Willem Mons. Because accusing the Queen of adultery has political implications for himself, he decides to accuse Mons of bribery and embezzlement.
Not surprisingly, Willem Mons is found guilty and swiftly beheaded. But Peter's wife, Catherine, won't be getting off easy either.
In addition to his notoriously bad temper and bloodlust, Peter the Great considers himself a fan of the sciences. He has a cabinet of curiosities. He has pickled fetuses, he has two-headed goats, syphilis-ridden skulls and jars. It's possible that these curiosities kind of inspired him to come up with a creative payback for his wife.
According to the legend, he decides he is going to take Willem Mons' head and have it pickled in a jar to be presented to his wife to have her keep on her bedside as a warning not to repeat what she has done.
Peter's act of revenge doesn't have its intended effect. Rumor has it Catherine keeps the head, even after Peter dies the following year.
Catherine, for her part, gets her own post-mortem revenge on Peter. After Peter's death, Catherine uses money from the royal estate, money that Mons was falsely accused of embezzling, and showers it upon his surviving family.
Now that is sweet, or perhaps sour revenge. However, it pales in comparison to what the angriest wife in Soviet history plans for the Nazi war machine.
Maria Octobraya is born in Crimea around the turn of the century. She is a Russian serf, so when the Communist Revolution happens, she sees this as a way out of her abject poverty.
Maria is an idealistic young woman, and in 1925, she's very proud to marry a Russian soldier. And as the saying goes in Russia, marry a soldier, marry the army. So as an army wife, Maria learns some basic military skills, how to drive military trucks, and she gains familiarity with weapons and munitions. She actually becomes a pretty formidable person.
When the Nazis invade in the summer of 1941, her husband is sent to the front. She finds out 2 years later that he was killed in the opening moments of the invasion.
Of course, Maria does not take that news well. She is out for blood.
Maria sells all of her possessions and does whatever she can to raise money to fund her plan.
So she writes Stalin and says, I want to go out there and avenge my husband's death, and I'm so serious about this, I have deposited 50,000 rubles in the National Republic Bank, and I want a tank.
And Stalin responds with one word, duh.
Maria is granted a T-34 tank with the term fighting girlfriend painted on the side.
By September 1943, Maria and the fighting girlfriend are both ready to make the Nazis pay.
Her first mission is to protect Stalingrad. And when she shows up, she means business.
On numerous occasions, the tank is extremely successful. It's leading the breakthrough. It's taking out infantry positions, it's taking out machine gun positions, and then boom, it's hit by a German anti-tank shell. The shell severs part of the track. Immediately now, she decides to spring into action. Miraculously, she repairs the tank track under fire, gets it back into battle, and off goes fighting girlfriend again.
Maria is invincible. For 2 more months, she continues bulldozing through enemy trenches, taking out anyone in her path.
In January of 1944, bitter cold time of year, Maria and her crew are taking part in an attack against Nazi forces in Belarus.
The tank is hit, a track is severed, and she jumps out under fire yet again. When a shell explodes near her, she's dragged off the battlefield, but she ends up in a coma.
2 months later, on March 15th, 1944, Maria succumbs to her injuries.
Maria is buried with full military honors and posthumously awarded medals for heroism. And in a final tribute to her, the medals are melted down and used in the manufacture of a new fighting girlfriend tank. So Maria's crusade for revenge continues.
For her efforts, Maria is also awarded the title of Hero of the Soviet Union, the nation's highest honor. In mafia-controlled Naples, Italy, another widow's vengeance earns her a much less honorable title. Meet the godmother.
In 1935, Assunta Pupetta Maresca is born outside of Naples, kind of at the foot of Mount Vesuvius. And she is born into an area that is completely run by organized crime.
The town that Pupetta grows up in is seen as so corrupt and so evil that a local priest decides to perform an exorcism on the whole town from a helicopter. It doesn't work. She is part of a family that's organized crime, and they specifically deal in black market cigarettes.
Pupetta's nickname means little doll. But even as a child, she's not innocent.
Pupetta stashes contraband in her dollhouse. In grade school, she stabs a classmate who's the daughter of a rival crime family. She is in it from the very beginning.
So as she grows up, she is a beauty queen. She is really kind of perfectly positioned to become a wife to a mafioso.
She is a catch, and she finds her match in Pasqualone Simonetti. Pasqualone is very well known in the area because he is in charge of the vegetable racket.
This tough guy gets a piece of every vegetable that comes through the port of Naples. And after a whirlwind courtship, the two lovebirds tie the knot.
Very quickly, Pupetta becomes pregnant. But the honeymoon phase of this relationship is to be short-lived.
Because Pasquale's business is really, really lucrative, that means that other people want the same thing he has.
Chief among his rivals is a man named Antonio Esposito, a former partner who has taken to mocking Pasqualone in public, calling him the president of potato prices, which sounds even more insulting in Italian.
The tensions between Pasqualone and Antonio heat up to the point that violence becomes the only option. Pasqualone is rushed to the hospital. Pupetta is there to meet him. He is dying, and she asks him, "Who did this to you?" And he says, "Antonio Esposito." That moment, on that day, she starts plotting her revenge.
As he will soon discover, Esposito has messed with the wrong Pupetta.
It's August 4th, 1955, less than a month after Pasqualone's death. Pupetta is 8 months pregnant. She tracks down Antonio. She finds him in a cafe. In broad daylight, Pupetta pulls out her gun and shoots Antonio 29 times, which means she had to reload.
Pupetta is not above the law. She gets arrested. Everybody knows who the pregnant murdering woman is. It's her.
And over the course of the trial, the world catches news of this pregnant young woman who carried out this revenge. She becomes an instant celebrity. She gives interviews, she talks to the press, and when they ask, "Do you regret this, killing a man?" she said, "I did it for love, and I would do it again."
Her courtroom drama may sell a lot of ink, But it doesn't keep her out of prison. What it does do is make her a legend.
Because of the violence and the vengefulness of this act, it also starts to establish her mob cred. She earns the title of Madrina, which is the first godmother in mafia history.
She has her baby while incarcerated, and her fellow inmates change the baby's diapers.
Her sentence is originally for 24 years, but she only serves 10 of it, and then she receives a pardon, so the whole thing is wiped clean off of her record.
Unlike her rival mob bosses who end up dying violently, she passes away peacefully at the age of 86 in Campania.
Before she dies, Pupetta Maresca is asked about her vengeful reputation, to which she replies, "La notte dormo bene." I sleep fine at night.